Make sure that we're okay. So we're running. So, if you could, why don't you tell us how does it feel being here in New Orleans, Louisiana, with among your Democratic friends?
It feels great. It's wonderful. I've been to Louisiana many times, particularly here in New Orleans. Love the oysters, love the people, love the Democrats.
Okay. Now, yesterday you might have heard that the Louisiana Republican Party sent out some missives. Basically saying that you were a Republican before, now a Democrat, and questioning your feelings about the health care law. And so what exactly is your position regarding the health care law?
I support it, and I think it's very important that we get it implemented.
Okay.
And they were right. I was a Republican, and now I am very happily a Democrat,
okay.
And I have seen the light.
Okay. And so what is it about the health care law that you feel that we should be supporting this time, especially given the fact that in October 1 is we'll be able to look at the policies and the exchanges?
I think the most important part that should be supported, among other things, is the fact that pre-existing conditions won't keep you from getting coverage going forward under Obamacare, which even the president now calls it. And the 26-year-olds can stay on their parents' policies. I think that's really helped a lot of people throughout the country. And there are many, many more. But Americans deserve health coverage, and I'm glad the president pushed it forward.
One last question, and that is that there are some, including our U.S. Senator, David Vitter, who is supportive of shutting down the federal government. Now, you're being a former governor of Louisiana. I mean, former governor of Florida, sorry. But, you can come over to Louisiana and run for governor if you want. But, but seriously, you're being a former governor of Florida. I'm just wondering, what would that do, assuming that the Republicans are successful in shutting down the federal government, what does that mean for state government?
Well, it would be tragic for the American people. I don't believe it's going to happen. I think that common sense will prevail, and I think that our government will stay open and not get shut down, and Obamacare will be enacted.
What type of services would be affected, from a state government standpoint, if I might?
Could be a lot in the healthcare arena.
Okay.
And I got to go in.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
To come down to Fort Myers, Florida, which was sort of the epicenter of the foreclosure fallout that our country was experiencing when our economy was really going off the cliff. And his office staff reached out to mine in Tallahassee, our capital, and said, the president would like you to be with him in Fort Myers if you want, and let us know. So my office staff came into to my office and informed me of this kind invitation and said, Governor Crist, do you want to go? And I said, sure. It's the president. Of course. And they go, really? He's a Democrat. I'm like, no kidding. Yeah, but you're a Republican. You're going to go greet him? I said, absolutely I am. The President of the United States is coming to our state. And I'm going to go be with him. And if he asks me, I'm going to introduce him. And he did ask me. And he said, I know this is going to cause you a lot of trouble. I didn't think of it that way. It really never crossed my mind. Call me naive. But I had the pleasure of introducing him. I was standing at a podium like this at a convention center in Fort Myers, Florida. He was there to talk about the stimulus, Mary. Thank you for voting for it. Thank you for voting for the Affordable Care Act. Doing the right thing. And so I said a few words. I was introducing the president. Then he started to walk up to the podium with me, and he hugged me. And I hugged him back. And it was over after that. That was the beginning of the end for Charlie Crist, a Republican. Now, you have no idea the grief I caught from my former party for being nice to the President of the United States of America. And people would ask me, why would you do that? Why would you stand with him? I said, because of two people, Charlie Crist Sr. and Nancy Crist, my mother. I have 3 sisters. Charlie and Nancy Sr. raised my 3 sisters and me to try to be good, decent people, to treat others with respect, to have mutual respect for all people, no matter what party they belong to and no matter what color their skin. We're all in this together. So at any rate, I would tell friends, that's why I went to see the President of the United States, because Mom and Dad always said, when we were growing up, treat others right. Do unto others. You've heard that one, I know. And that comes from something higher. Do unto others. Especially when that other happens to be the President of the United States of America. So I was proud to be with President Obama when he came to Fort Myers, Florida. And I decided not long thereafter to run for the U.S. Senate because I thought that good people like Mary Landrieu and others that were fighting for the people deserved to have some people join their ranks to help them out. And try to, work across the aisle a little bit and work together as Americans and put that label first. Well, as soon as I got into the race, my opponent, who's now in the U.S. Senate, a guy named Marco Rubio, you might have heard of him. Well, whatever. At any rate, he starts sending out campaign literature. I know poor Mary was reading one from the Republicans that they put out today, but ignore it. They're all about fear and you know what it is. Stop watching Fox. But he starts sending out literature, not inside the envelope, but on the outside envelope is the photograph of the President and I embracing. Yeah, funny, isn't it? Anyway, that gives you a sense of where the Republican Party has gone. And who was it? Newt Gingrich just this week, Alice, said that, the Republicans need to get over, bashing Obama every day. And he's right. He said, you know what, if we don't start coming up with some kind of ideas, all we say is no to everything. No to health care, no to stimulus, no to America. If they don't start coming up with some answers, they're not going to just be a party that's in disarray. They're going to be a party that is gone. I mean, gone. And there are some good Republicans. Mom and Dad still happen to be. But if I do something next year, they're going to switch that day. But it's true. They need to get their act together. But that's where the hope lies for Louisiana. That's what should inspire you every single day. We're pragmatic. We're practical. We understand that we need to work together to get things done. And instead of having the kind of nonsense I've heard that Bobby has been refusing to help people and children in Louisiana, I would call that nonsense. We need to exercise, as Democrats, common sense again. That's what the people want. I want to give you just a couple examples. Civil rights. Civil rights, we're celebrating a lot of history in civil rights coming up. And I think it's very important that we refocus on civil rights and how important it is. Before I was governor of Florida, I served as Attorney General. And one of the first things I did as Attorney General was change the law in Florida. It used to be that to bring a civil rights case, you needed the permission in Florida of the United States Department of Justice. And I'm like, what's up with that? The people elect somebody, they put their trust, their confidence, and their faith in an individual. Why shouldn't that Attorney General be able to bring a civil rights case? So we convinced the legislature to do it. They gave our office that power. Well, the first case that I brought involved a hotel in Perry, Florida called the Southern Inn. What was happening at the Southern Inn that I would bring a civil rights case? An African-American family was having a family retreat, a reunion, one weekend in Perry, which is not that far from Tallahassee, Florida. Believe it or not, this is just in about 2002. When the children went to swim in the pool, the owner, the proprietor of that hotel, went to the pool and said, no colors in the pool. Yeah. So we sued him for civil rights violation We won the case, and the guy at that hotel can never do business again in the state of Florida. It's called doing the right thing. It's not complicated. It is not. You know, a lot